This is Dr. Mariah White, host of Your Life Matters. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Welcome to the C. Jane Sell podcast,
a relatable sales podcast for your weekly dose of sanity. I'm your host, Chelsea Dupre.
and I'm your host, Lee Nevis.
Hey friends, it's another episode of C. Jane Sell with Chelsea and
Lee. I don't know if you were going to say my name or maybe
I thought about what I was like, maybe she wants to say her own name.
I feel that. Yeah.
So, yes, anyways, today we are going to be talking about something near and dear to every single salesperson's heart, which is cold calling, phone calling, getting ready to make that dreaded phone call.
Yeah.
But before we dive in deep, I want to hear about your day, week,
Ooh.
your life, the things.
Well, my day was really nice. I had like my first official, I guess, like pitch meeting with an investor, which was terrifying, and I had no idea what I was doing. I did a lot of Googling, lots of articles that I read, pretty much just winged it. I mean, I prepped for it, but like all the prep work, I definitely winged? No, it's not wang. I winged it.
No.
I wung it. I winged.
You did it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Flied by the seat of my pants. Seat of my pants?
Seat of
Oh
my
my gosh,
pants.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I think I did pretty okay. And I am just waiting to hear back now on my proposal. And so that's pretty much what I did today. And I did some creative work this week for the new business monthly main. Trying to figure out all the themes of the boxes every month. So I got most of those nailed down. And that is pretty much it. I went to Hanover Homecoming this weekend. Good old Hanover College. That was an interesting time.
Yeah.
And I survived. And no one has changed a bit 10 years later.
Perfect.
So it was fun. It was fun.
That's great.
What about you?
What about me? I went to Nashville this weekend and almost died from ragweed. Turns out very allergic.
What?
Yep.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Allergic to ragweed. Allergies. Killed me.
Is ragweed like really like rampant in
Yes.
Tennessee?
And usually in like our area in Tennessee in the Midwest, when it comes like end of August to end of October, it's very, very high. I learned all of this. And it was like dangerously high in Nashville this weekend while I was there.
Jeez.
And I thought I was coming down with like the plague. Nope, just allergies. So it's fine.
Skin's gonna fall off? Nope, allergies.
So, I'm pretty sure my sinuses are gonna pop through my skin and my eardrums are gonna implode. But it's just allergies.
Dang.
Very horrible allergies.
I'm sorry.
Like faucet, nose.
Yeah, like
All
all the
of
bad
it.
stuff. Are you taking a decongestant?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm on the things. I'm on the mend.
Good.
On
I
the
did
mend.
one time I thought that I could like naturally like cure my allergies, and so I just like drank like, this is like when I lived in LA, I just drank like cayenne and ginger and lemon shots and just drank a lot of water, and then in the middle of the night one of my eardrums burst. Yeah. Because it ruptured because my sinus pressure was so large in my head. So my doctor was like, you need to take decongestants when you get allergies and when you get a sinus infection, because that will happen to you. And
Did it hurt so bad?
It was the worst pain I've ever experienced. And I mean, like, I've had my wisdom teeth removed. I've had multiple tattoos. I've had Botox. I've had all the things. It was the worst experience because you're constantly dizzy. Plus your ear hurts so bad and nothing will help it. And like you can't hear. So it's just like all the things.
My ears
like
are itching right now.
it was horrible. So
I can't handle that.
keep taking congestants is the moral of this story.
Yeah.
But anyways, on a more positive note, how was the wedding you were at in Nashville?
It was great. It was super, super, super. It was beautiful and wonderful.
Good.
And yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Work going well?
Work is good. I'm trucking along. I have some big meetings in the next couple weeks.
Oh, I know about one of them.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Prepping for that. I'm
Oh
really
my gosh.
excited.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That will be awesome. Not would be
be.
awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Celebration.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So that'll be a good step towards another President's Club under my belt.
Girl.
If all goes well.
Can you imagine when you get 4
Yeah.
in a row?
I'm be living large.
I can't even.
I know. So
begin.
excited. So excited. So, yeah, that's basically it for me.
Well, good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
So.
awesome. Well, good for you, girl.
Yeah.
You're killing it.
Thanks.
All right. Well, I guess we will move along to
Pressing forward.
for the main subject of our pod today and why you're listening. I don't know. Maybe you listen to us, like, talk about dumb stuff, maybe.
Probably.
But if not, if you're here for the real bulk of this conversation, we're going to get to it. So, we wanted to talk today about tips for call pre-planning. Because, what? Are you laughing at me? Like, why it took me so long to say that?
Well, it's just, I was laughing a little bit at that, and then just the fact that it's so true. Like, you need, like, tips to plan for planning for your pre-call.
Yeah, I know. It can get complicated, okay?
Complications.
But yeah, I think, well, we really take for granted. Sometimes we get really excited to do stuff and we just want to jump in and, like, go just, like, off the cuff and kind of just go haywire. And sometimes that works for some people. Mm-hmm. But if this is something that you're new to, it can be really, I don't want to say dangerous, but it could not go very well.
Well, because you have to think, like, what size of your account, you know, what's, in my world, if I'm going to a very large account, I want to know everything.
Yes, absolutely.
I Elle Woods it. I find out what lip gloss they wear, where they get their hair done. I find out everything so I can connect with them on another level.
Absolutely.
Versus, you know, because that's people by people versus things. Mm-hmm. And so if you can connect with them on a personal level, not like a intimate level. I'm not trying to be inappropriate here. When I say personal, I mean like
Chelsea dates every person the cold calls. So that's a big tip for you today. Just start dating whoever you want to buy from you.
Yeah, I mean,
super
whatever,
easy.
if that works for you.
Yes.
But I just mean like know their dog if they have a dog. Like know these things. If you have a chance to talk to them and they share this information, write it down so you know it, so you can know these things. That's what I'm trying to say is get to know your people versus sometimes if I'm trying to hurry and go and I have a smaller account and it works for me just to fly by the seat of my pants and just wing it and be like, hey, who handles your program? Okay, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Like we can go over all those things, but and another thing is if it's a big customer, big client, a big investor that you're seeking for, if you're prepared and you know what you're talking about, they're much more likely than to go with you versus someone who's like, hey, I'm a new rep in your area and I want to swing by. Why in the world would a business owner entrust thousands of dollars with a new person versus a person who knows what they're talking about and has experience?
Yes.
Stop saying, I'm new and I want to introduce myself.
Right.
Stop it.
Because that immediately sets alarms off in my head. It's like, oh my gosh, girl, okay, call me in like a year.
Yeah,
like
they don't have time to meet with you, and so now you're just giving yourself another
and you're on that immediate like beginning sales kick where you can just do anything, and no one's told you no yet, and you've not like closed a deal yet, but you're so excited to close. It's just no, just don't say that you're new.
Take our advice.
Just don't say that you're new.
Make yourself an expert about something and say that you are that expert
completely,
and then take your sales manager with you,
please. Yes. But yeah, and these can be used for, not just sales cold calling. Yes. I mean, this can be applied to new partnerships that you want to create in a business that you own, new investment opportunities, because ultimately, I mean, the goal of every cold call is to set a meeting.
Yes.
And
that's the only
That's
goal.
what you want to do. You don't want to close a deal on the phone. You just want to entice them, let them know what you're talking about, introduce an idea to them, and then get them to sit down and talk to you about it.
I think that's the biggest issue most salespeople have, is they try to get it in and over and done. Your only objective when you're prospecting is to set the meeting.
Yes.
And in that meeting, you find the pain. And then after that, you set the presentation where you bring up the pain. And then you close the deal. Now, are there times when you're going to be able to close it in one hit wonder? Sure.
Right.
The world is your oyster, babe.
Yep. That 2% of the time when you just call at the right time and
that's great. That's great. But your only objective is to set the meeting. And if you can't set the meeting, your next objective is to get information.
Yes.
So you know more.
Collect all the info you can.
Yeah, you're going straight up PI mode. Private investigator.
Ooh, I love this.
Yeah, PI Dupre.
And I am PI Nevis.
Perfect.
That sounds terrible. I hate that. But yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so after you have, you've done your research, you've figured out everything that you need to know before this call.
Yeah. Where do you go to do your research?
Me personally?
Yeah, if you're looking up, where are places that you go?
So I honestly, Google is your best friend in the world. Like from my experience, just from an entrepreneur side, figuring out what you want to know. There's so many investor websites. There's so many websites that explain like who the best investors are for different, types of companies, whether it's e-commerce or women-owned or whatever.
Yeah.
Google can be your absolute best friend. When it comes to creating partnerships, I would say just stick to a category. Like, for example, I personally want to create partnerships with hair salons in Louisville and the surrounding area. So I'm obviously going to, Google hair salons, find out who the owners are, find out how long they've been in business. If they have a specialty, are they a color place? Are they more like a men's cut place? Are they more an extension place? Right. Doing research that way. But when it comes to sales, I mean, you can probably speak
LinkedIn.
to this way more. I was about to say like LinkedIn and like there's
honestly,
so many
Facebook.
Yes, and there's databases and there's like so many like sales generator like apps and websites that you can use to help gain knowledge of like different companies and how many employees they have and what their revenue is and blah 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 blah, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So after you've done your research, you feel pretty confident about making the call. Next step, don't make the call. Write a script.
Yes. And my biggest thing about the script, where I've come from, the biggest thing that I could say is we refer to it as a WIFM. What's in it for me? When you're calling this customer, this client, this investor, it's not about you. It's about what you can do for them. What's in it for me?
Absolutely.
So you have to have a value proposition. Why it's important to meet with them? Is it cost savings? Is it their contract coming up for renewal? Is it you've projected that you're going to make X amount of money in X amount of time and they can have X amount of whatever? You have to have a value proposition, and really, how can you, as the consultant, benefit them? Because they're going to give you their time, their money, all these things. So it's not about what you're doing or what you have, blah, blah, blah. It's about them, and how you can help them.
Completely. And I think, too, when you write a script, you have to remember, you have to be detailed enough to where they're not like, what the heck is this? Why would I want to meet with you? But you can't be so over-explaining that I'm making up that word, it's not a real word. You can't be so over-explaining that they literally are like, okay, well then why would we even meet? Like, you just told me all the information I need to know.
And you only have like 5 seconds to get their attention. Yeah. So that's why you have to make it quick and fast and from the top. Like,
yes.
Hey, I know your contract's coming up for renewal in a couple months, and I can save you 25% of your total cost of ownership. Okay, that's one with them.
Tight. No, that's great.
You
that is, you're telling them exactly what you can offer them, but not like getting into so many details, because I feel like I've just heard so many bad calls that just they talk and talk and talk and talk.
They talk themselves out of it.
Yes.
This person's like, I'm not interested. Bleep.
Yeah.
You have seconds, literally seconds, to get your prospect's attention and to hook them a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that's why a whiff-em is so important.
Yes.
And it's so important that you come off as confident. The next best thing besides a whiff-em is your confidence.
Oh,
and not so, there's a, oh my gosh, who does it? I love this girl. She is so funny. I'm going to try to look for it while we're talking about this. But, gosh dang it, it is so funny. You keep going while I look this up because it is just so good.
For sure. Okay. So on the idea of like confidence and writing a script, I think it's important too to, if this is your first script that you have written, definitely consult with your sales manager. Consult with someone who has done this before. Consult with someone who has made investor calls and like interest calls and like partnership proposal calls, because sometimes, you know, they can know something and let you know a little like objection that you might have to overcome, or some sort of obstacle that you didn't think of because you're not experienced at this. So definitely bring in someone who is experienced, someone who knows what to say and knows what to do, and don't, again, just wing it. Don't wing it like I did. Well, you can wing it, I guess, but please consult a professional when
after
writing.
You've been in like after you've been in an industry for so long, you've been doing it, you're probably more likely or able to wing
You
it.
can totally, yes.
A little bit more, but
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It's Kate McKinnon.
Oh, I love her.
I'm like the biggest fan of her, and I can't find the skit of her, but it was like her first job, and she was a salesperson on the phone.
Oh my gosh, I have to watch this.
And
this is already enticing me. I'm obsessed.
I mean,
did you find this video, Chelsea?
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, you have to, this is what happens if you're not confident and you're not prepared and and you're extremely hilarious.
Okay, all right. Hold on. We'll play it.
I won an Emmy.
Yeah.
You know? And
Wait,
he was
hold
like,
on.
yeah,
Sorry,
go
I
scoop
accidentally
the crap
backed it up
from my
15 seconds.
First of all, the fact that he can speak English is something.
This is her talking about her cat.
I love
Kate
Kate McKinnon.
McKinnon do before you got Saturday Night Live? You got some odd jobs. Could you just give us an example of one of them? I know you were a telemarketer at one point.
I was a telemarketer for SAT classes at one point.
That's a tough job in general, I say because no one really wants to hear from the telemarketer.
No, and especially if I'm not good at selling things, and so I would just go like, "Hi, I'm calling from the company, and just wanted to know if you might want this, but if you don't, it's fine. I will get off the phone. I'm sorry to interrupt your afternoon, but I can hear in your voice that you don't want it. So okay, sorry about you. But
good luck in your SATs. Yeah.
Yes, my quota was set about $30,000 lower than anyone else's, and I did not meet it.
Yeah, they did not.
That is
Perfect.
amazing. That is absolute, like, the thing is, though, is that, like, you've heard those before. Like, I have heard so many times, like, people, like, say that on the phone, like, the way they, like, are really, like, just not confident in themselves, and they just assume that the other person is not interested.
Yeah, lots of buts. They don't have the confidence. They count themselves out.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh my gosh.
1,000,000%.
hilarious.
But I just thought that was freaking
That's incredible.
hilarious.
That's incredible. So, yeah, so definitely write a script. Definitely become confident.
But don't read the script.
Yeah,
Like,
don't.
memorize the script. Make the
Right.
script your own in your own voice.
That's my 6th point.
Oh, crap.
So we'll get to that.
Sorry.
So, next on the list is practice. Actually, this really ties into what you were just saying, kind of. Because when you practice your script and you practice with someone else, you role play with someone else.
Role play is the most uncomfortable thing.
It's so uncomfortable, but it's so necessary because it helps you become more natural and memorize the script, but not that you have to stick to it word for word.
Well, and I will say this. When you get thrown off by an objection, or just maybe you're a little bit nervous, it's like riding your bike. If you know how to do it, you can close your eyes. I mean, obviously you're not going to close your eyes while you ride your bike the whole time, but you know what to do. Or like dribbling a basketball. That's probably a better example.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Dribbling a basketball.
Right.
It's a muscle memory. You've built a foundation. You know where you're going and you know where your next steps are. So if you're role playing and you're practicing and you know what you're doing, if something comes your way and you're like, oh, you should just know because you practice it so much. It's
completely
muscle memory in a sense.
Yes. And it's, you know it so well that if you kind of are
maybe not on your A game.
Yeah, if you're not on your A game, you know it so well, you can almost do it like mindlessly.
Yeah.
Like, you should be on your A game and you should, you know, be paying attention to like what you're saying, and you should try your very best to put yourself in the right environment and the right mindset. But if you're not there, you're gonna have bad days. But you know what? On your bad days, you still got to do your job, and that is you can't just like sit down and not do anything because you're having a bad day. So if you know this really well and you have it ingrained in your mind, then you will be able to just trudge through even on your bad days.
Yep. 1000%.
I love it. So,
your next point.
And I guess this is kind of our final point, because we already kind of...
Yeah, you want to brainstorm every objection.
Which we kind of we touched on that a little bit.
Yeah, practice, brainstorm.
Yeah.
That's like with the role-playing is, like, for example, we have a bunch of objections, like our contract is not for a couple years, or... you know, we're just really not interested, or we don't have time. And so if you can have a couple objections ready to be like, I know my biggest thing and my go-to that I have found so much success is feel, felt, found. I completely understand. I feel, felt, found it. Okay? I know exactly how you feel. Joe felt the same way. And he found, through working with me, we were able to save X amount of dollars.
Correct.
Feel, felt, found it. Relate, agree, confirm, reassure.
Absolutely. And this goes into a lot of times when you're calling on investors, they're going to give you a lot of money. That's why you're calling them, for them to give you money.
Yep.
If you research the clients that they've already had, you can find someone similar to you and be like, okay, like, you know, maybe you're not interested in this, but I know that you might have felt that way before with so-and-so at this company. And then they, you know, after them talking to you, you sitting down with them and realizing that they were actually good for you, look at what, you know, you've been able to do with them and look how much revenue you've been able to create for yourself by investing in them. Yep. So it's all about, again, goes back to doing your research, goes back to thinking about every objection possible, and it goes back to just knowing exactly what you're talking about and being prepared. Yes. So that kind of leads into our next point of plan your proposal. So pretty much in every sales call that you're going to be making, obviously you're going to want to set a meeting.
Yes, ask for it.
You ask for the meeting, but you have to know why do you want to set this meeting, and you have to be able to tell them exactly why you're calling. So let's say that they have like a really, for you at least, they have like a really expensive plan, and you know who they're with, and you know their contract's going to run up, and you know that this product that they have is like crap. It's a really good example of this is you can say, well, you can save, you know, X amount by, you know, renewing your contract with us, or not renewing, but for
signing up with us.
Correct.
You can save 30%. I know I can save you 30% off your annual savings or your total cost of ownership.
Yes.
By switching to me.
Yes, exactly. And for me, like, at least like with investors, you can at least kind of hint at like, hey, you know, plan that's been really successful with my other investors is you invest X amount of money, you get it back plus a percentage of net revenue over like 2 years. Let's meet up and talk about it.
Yeah.
Have some sort of concrete thing so that they can say, okay, well, actually, like, that sounds good, or like, oh, that interests me. Don't just say like, hey, I want to talk about partnering up. Let's meet.
Yeah.
You know, because that's kind of just like, okay, that's a little general. Like,
that comes into that whole with them. Like, what is in it for me?
Yes.
There's a million different people calling on them all the time. You got trash companies, you've got paper companies, you've got uniform companies, you've got water companies, you've got vending companies.
Everything under the sun. And
they all have competitors. So all the competitors for all those things are calling on these people. So you are what we call a commodity.
Correct.
So you have to be different. And it's not always going to be about price. Mm-hmm. So you just have to find out what's your good value proposition, have a with them, know who you're talking to, know who you're asking for. Because the worst thing is if you call somebody and you ask for someone who has died, or you ask for somebody's dad who has died, and you're talking to the son because you didn't do your research.
Yo. Yeah.
That legit happens.
It does.
And you might be very well prepared and it's something recent and it's beyond your ability to know, but that's something that happens.
Yeah. It does happen. And you have to be prepared and know how to handle that in the appropriate manner and not in like some like awkward, weird way that I'm sure so many people have handled it in the past.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've planned, you've done your research, you have written a script, you have practiced,
role played.
You've role played, you've brainstormed your objections, you've figured out your proposal, you know what you're going to ask for, and then you pick up the phone. And the most important thing to remember is forget everything that you've learned. Don't
sound like a robot.
Do not sound like a robot. You can't. You have to make this conversational.
Nobody wants to be like, hi, this is Chelsea with the Universe, and I want to meet with you about your uniforms.
Yep.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that. And you know who else doesn't want that? Your coworkers. Listening to you with the same exact vocal tones, every single word, the same melodic, weird pattern.
Talk how you talk to your friends.
Please.
Just, hey, it's Chelsea with Universe. How are you?
Correct.
Talk like you are a normal human being.
Yes.
And if you've done all the things that we've told you, it will be embedded and engraved in your beautiful little mind. So when you get on that phone, you know what to do.
Completely.
Write out a little card and have it on your desk so you can, like, touch point.
Yes. You know? Bullet point. Yes, that's another good thing. Bullet point it. Do not write out exact scripts because if they come back with something that is not your next response, you're going to be like, oh God, what do I say?
Yeah.
Do bullet points and don't look at it the whole time.
Yep.
If you get stuck, glance at it and figure out, okay, well, I can just say this. But don't write it out word for word.
When I first started, I wrote out my script. I wrote it out. I read it word for word. My husband helped me, and then he pushed that to the side, and I did bullet points so I could remember, so I didn't sound like a robot.
Yeah.
And so when I would read it, and he'd be like, put it down and say it to me. And then if there's points that I forget, that would be my bullet point, so I could know where I was going.
I love that.
So
that's so smart.
And the thing when you're calling somebody, it is so much better to start from the top and work your way down versus from the bottom and work your way up, because you're gonna tick somebody off.
Yo.
Because someone's going to feel like you go over their head. They're going to be all upset about it. And you're like, I'm just doing my job. And they don't care that you're doing your job. They're going to have their feelings hurt.
Yes.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And then, like, you're going to rule the world and go to a bunch of president's clubs. And
you're going to kill it. And you know what? Even if you don't kill it, guess what? There's always going to be another phone call you're going to make.
Yep.
And you will become better.
Dial for dollars.
That's the worst. I always hate that because it makes me feel like if I make a phone call, I make like $3 or $4. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I would rather it be like dial for like a mortgage payment. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know how to say that in a cute way.
There's no cute way.
All right, fine. Oh well.
We tried.
Yeah, we did try. Well, no matter what kind of calls you're making this week, this month, just remember that there is a system you can put in place, and there are different ways and different tactics that can help you, and you're never going to be perfect, but you can sure as heck try to be.
And your first call, you're probably going to sound like Kate McKinnon.
Yep.
It's fine.
Absolutely. And if you do, no big deal.
Yeah, that's your first pancake for the day.
That's your first pancake. Yes. Oh my gosh, that was like in our first episode.
I know.
The first pancake. I love that.
Toads adorbs.
What a throwback.
I know. But the wheel has been invented for you, people. So there's no sense in reinventing it. Have the wheel. Put your own spin on the wheel.
Completely.
And people are really going to appreciate that.
They will.
So that's my best advice I could give anybody for cold calling, phone calling. It's a very crucial part of sales. You've got to do it. It's probably the suckiest part about sales. Really. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. I had it.
Yes.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
But it is so important to set yourself up for success. So when you're going, my biggest advice, you have all these 5-6 points. Be confident, and your only goal is to set the meeting. The rest will work itself out.
It will.
Be confident. Trust that you've done your due diligence, and just your only goal is to set the meeting.
Correct.
I'm going to walk away. Mic drop.
We're going to walk away.
Keep it simple,
That's
y'all.
it. The end. The end. We hope you have enjoyed this episode today. Any questions? Anything you want us to talk about? Anything that maybe is like weighing on your mind? Any advice that you need? We are happy to help out and take suggestions and talk about it, or bring on a guest that maybe is an expert in this area. So please reach out to us. Feel free.
Yeah.
Also follow us on our Instagram at CJ and Salt Podcast. Go like us on Facebook. Please give us a rating and review, and we would love you forever. And we will